listening to Jobs in Pods.
Welcome to Jobs in Pods, the only podcast where real employers talk about their jobs and tell you what it's like to work there. I'm your host, Chris Russell. This jobcast will feature the GE Operations Management Leadership Program, or OMLP. It is an intensive program designed to accelerate the development of entry-level talent and produce leaders capable of meeting the challenges facing the operations function at General Electric. Today we'll talk to two members of this program, Dennis Krause and Mallika Ramaswamy. Both are program associates at GE Energy. Dennis and Mallika, welcome to Jobs and Pods.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, so Dennis, we'll start with you. What is the Operations Management Leadership Program? Explain that for us.
OMLP is one of GE's world-class training programs. This one focuses on operations and supply chain management. It's a 2-year entry-level program. Within those 2 years, you're going to experience 4 different 6-month rotations. And they're usually going to be at multiple locations within those 2 years. So process engineer, sourcing and procurement, Lean Six Sigma leader, or even managing your own shop floor are all examples of types of roles you could be in. So myself, for example, I've been in South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, and Florida. And these are full-time roles, but on top of them, you also have pretty intense training curriculum. You get to go to GE's famous Crotonville facility. And this program, the bottom line, is really about accelerated growth.
Dennis, why did you choose GE and the OMLP program?
Well, when I was looking to start my career, GE was certainly at the top of my list. And as I looked around, it became a pretty easy choice. First of all, I was on GE's EID co-op program, which is their early identification co-op program for while you're in school. So I saw GE firsthand, and that certainly helped my decision. But the reason I ultimately went with GE really is GE's reputation as being one of the world's most admired companies. And the reason for that is their ability to develop leadership. And I think that leadership development is really a universal skill that I can use for the rest of my career. For OMLP in specific, I love the opportunity to see different functions of the supply chain and being able to be right there on the shop floor with my hands right on the product. I think that's a neat experience, and being on the front lines is going to help me later in the career when, upper management, which I hope to be someday a little further away from the product, I know what's going on because I've had that foundation. Finally, I love being in a business that builds not only a great product, but a great product that's good for the environment and that's at the leading edge of innovation. I think our wind and our water are great examples of that. Another good example is where I'm going after I roll off this program. I'm taking a job in a business that's involved in smart grid, which right now is one of the biggest and fastest growing green technologies out there today. So all those factors, I think, really makes GE one of the best places to start your career.
Excellent. All right, let's get Mallika involved in the conversation here. Can you describe the rotations, training, and teamwork that you go through?
Sure, yeah, Dennis touched on it a little bit. As an OMLP, you're going to have the opportunity to work in 4 different rotations within a 2-year time frame. And these are really, really meaty roles. They're challenging roles with business-critical responsibilities. You're going to be out on the floor in shop operations, working with a sourcing team. You may be at one of our service centers or doing lean manufacturing, process engineering. And you're going to be in anywhere from 2 to 4 locations completing these rotations. Just to give you an idea of my experience, I've been a supervisor in wind turbine production in South Carolina. I've been at a small service center in Denver, Colorado as a lean leader, and I'm currently working in sourcing quality in Houston. So I've had a lot of great opportunity to see different locations and different businesses and environments. And as far as training goes, you're going to complete quite a bit of training as an OMLP, and it's something that GE really values and really invests quite a bit in with their employees. As an OMLP, you're going to do training both at your own site, and you will also visit the world-class training facility up in New York, and you'll learn about leadership skills and negotiation skills, project management, finance, manufacturing, and you'll be working with cross-functional teams. You'll be working with OMLPs from across the corporation, and then you'll really be empowered, I think, to take that training and apply it right away within your rotations.
Mallika, can you describe a typical day and maybe some of the projects you're currently working on?
It's a little bit hard to describe a typical day because what we do varies so much on a daily basis, and depending on the type of rotation that you're in. As a production supervisor, you're going to deal with a lot of the day-to-day sort of execution of the business goals versus a lean leader type role where you're going to be working more at a strategic level and leading projects. To give you just an example, I'm working in a rotation right now with supplier quality, and I'm working on eliminating supplier defects that have occurred out in the field. I'm coordinating between teams of engineers and global suppliers and other functions to put new designs and processes in place. So you kind of get an idea of the responsibility that we get, and it's challenging, but it's also a very exciting environment to work in.
Next question is for Dennis. How does the OMLP challenge and stretch your skills?
I think one of the best parts of the program is that it does really challenge you and stretch your skills. First of all, as we've touched on a little bit, you're going to be in some very diverse rotations. I've been sitting at the table as a key negotiator in a multi-million-dollar supply contract negotiation. I've been out on the shop floor managing people that have been working in their job longer than I've even been alive. So those are some tough situations to be in, but I think for OMLP, the expectations are set very high. You got to be a top performer, making real decisions and a big impact in just a very short amount of time. So I think the entire 2 years you're here keeps you on your toes the whole time. So I'm really thankful for the way that OMLP has challenged me to grow, both professionally and as a person.
Mallika, how does OMLP help in your career development?
Well, I just mentioned that you do get the opportunity to work in 4 different rotations, different environments, different functions. So I think you really get to learn what it is you like and don't like and what type of job fits your skill set, whether it's in quality, sourcing, manufacturing, engineering. And then I think another huge benefit of being a program member is that you have a lot of exposure to the different businesses and business leaders. As OMLPs, we report out to vice presidents and general managers, and we work with really diverse teams. So we really have support groups that help us inform that decision about what we want to do coming off program.
Right, okay. Dennis, who is eligible for this program?
Well, as I mentioned in the beginning, this is supposed to be a top-level training program. So first of all, you're going to want to be a talented, ambitious individual. It's important to have a strong passion for operations and for supply chain management. But as far as background, for OMLP, you need at least a bachelor's degree in engineering. Mechanical, electrical, industrial are all good examples. And roughly 3/4 of our members come out of GE's early identification co-op program. But GE also recruits at campuses throughout the country.
And when do interviews occur?
Well, the pipeline to the program is the EID co-op program. So if you're on the co-op program, you often have the opportunity to interview before you even finish your co-op. So that means potentially you could be going back to school with a job offer in hand while you finish up your last semester or two. So that's a great opportunity. But also during the fall and during the spring, GE will be on campuses around the country looking to recruit people there. So I'd recommend visiting your school's career center to see if GE recruits there, and if not, you can always visit us online. It's gecareers.com, and it's got all the information and links to apply on there.
Okay. Mallika, how can you get an EID assignment, which might help get you into the pipeline into one of the program slots there?
Sure, yeah. The EID, the Early Identification Program for co-ops, is a great way to learn about the program. You can find out a lot of information online, and if you think you're interested in OMLP, I definitely encourage you to try to get a rotation within supply chain, and the best way to do that is to make sure you communicate that desire to human resources and the program managers, and they'll work very closely with you to find a role that's a good fit.
Any last words of advice for current EIDs or students interested in OMLP, Mallika?
Yeah, I'd say try to find out as much as you can about the program and try to really make sure it's a good fit for you. It's a program for people who are very interested in both the technical side but also are very business-oriented. You're going to be working in a very challenging and dynamic environment, and if you like that and you like working directly with the product in a hands-on environment, I think it's going to be a great fit. So I definitely encourage you to go online and find out more information, and I'd say it's a really excellent way to begin a career in supply chain and a career with GE.
All right, well, that will do for this edition of Jobs and Pods. Dennis and Mallika, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to hear more GE Jobcast, just click the GE Jobs link on our site for more. You can also learn more at ge.com/careers. Listeners can also subscribe to our Jobcast on iTunes. Just do a keyword search for Jobs and Pods. Thanks for listening, everyone.